going on, the Winners Win podcast? Your boy Loso 2.0, and today we're going to talk about really some goal achieving things. Really, yeah, it's a lot, right? It's going to be the stages of growth. It's going to be the 3 stages of creation, the different types of goals, all that stuff. We're really going to get into that to really lock you in on how you really achieve these goals, right? But before we get started with everything, guys, I want you guys to please subscribe to the Winners Win channel, like this video, share it, comment below. Leave a 5-star review if you listen to this on any type of podcast platform, and also leave a review below so I can figure out how I can better serve you. Now, before we get started, there are 3 types of goals to achieve in life, right? And these 3 types of goals go A, B, and C. A goals are really, honestly, to be honest with you, are really the worst if you really want to think about it. And I feel like you can really get deeper on each level just by asking why, or what do you really want to do? What do you really want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Or why this? Why that? Why that? Just keep getting into the deeper, the meat and potatoes of it. So A goals really are goals that we know how to reach. Now, I'm not saying these goals aren't, I wouldn't say these goals are, what's the word I want to use? I wouldn't say they're just useless and worthless, right? For example, I know how to make $1,000, selling consultation services or coaching in 1 month. But I know how to do that stuff. So, it's no point. I mean, I can use that goal to, all right, I want to do it again this month, but I do know how to reach that goal, right? A B type goal is, it's what you think you can do. See, a lot of times when people set goals, we set goals to what we think we can do. I say, okay, cool, I want to make 6 figures this year. I already knew that I could do. Or I want to make 150 this year or 200 this year. That's okay. I think I can do that because I've made 6 figures before. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I can, maybe not. You think you can do that thing, right? And then your C goals are what you actually truly want to accomplish. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. Now, that's truly something you want to accomplish. It's like, that's something you don't even know how you're going to get there, but you're going to do it. Now, when you have goals like that, you're now using the law of relativity, right? And law of relativity says nothing's big, nothing's small, which is the idea if you really want to put what you want to accomplish, because you don't see it as such a big goal, because there's no such thing as a big goal and a small goal. And then it's also making the idea of that saying, shoot for the stars and get the moon. The idea, I'm shooting for the stars. I really want to accomplish something so powerful like that, make $1 million, me personally, I will be the number 1 motivational speaker ever in history, right? And a personal development guru ever to do it. And since I'm going to that and I'm shooting for that, I can, worst case scenario, I'm still number one person personal development in the world right now. You know what I mean? Or, still get etched in history. Maybe I'm top 5. Maybe I'm not number 1 ever, but maybe I'm top 5, top 3. It's a matter of you get what you really want to accomplish, right? So that's the type C, right there, right? So now after you get that C type goal, that's the goal you really, really want to shoot for. You have to then look back to your 3 stages of creation. So the 3 stages of creation goes from fantasy to theory to fact. Fantasy, this is what you really want to do. I'm going to be the number 1 personal development guru and motivational speaker ever, right? In order to do that, right, that's my fantasy. That's really what I fantasize, right? Then I start making theory. How do I get there? How do I do it? I start looking at what the other people done to get to where they're at right now, and then I make my own way of it, right? So I know, like, for example, with Tony Robbins, he read 70 books a year. I was like, okay, cool. He's going to read 70 books a year. Well, then I'm going to read 100 books every year. See what I'm saying? They did this, so I'm going to do that times 2. Like, I'm just going to do whatever they did and just try to amplify it. I start to get a theory behind it. Now, when you start to follow this theory and actually lock in on it, then that's when you actually make it a fact that I'm the number 1 motivational or the number personal development guru ever in history. It becomes a fact after that, because I then changed from fantasy to theory to fact. Remember, first they laugh at you, then they ridicule you, and then after that, they love you. It's the same thing, fantasy, theory, fact. Now that you got the A goal, now that you know the types of goals, now that you know the theories of the stages of creation, then you have to go through the stages of growth, right? Which the first one is bondage, right? Where you really feel locked down and you really feel like you can't get out of that. you feel stuck in your ways. It's really reality basically pushing down on you. You're bonded to that, right? You're in bondage, right? And bondage means to really be locked in. So I already went over the 3 types of goals, right? A, B, and C. A goals, there's goals you know how to reach. You can throw away those ones. So then you get deeper into it. B goals are the ones you think you can do. You've done them before. It's like saying, I want to buy a car. You bought a car before, so you know how to achieve that goal. Or that's A. B is like something like, all right, you bought a car, but now you want to buy maybe a little bit more expensive car because you think you could do that. Get away with that one. C goals is what you truly want to accomplish. What you really think you can accomplish if you let your imagination run wild, right? And then that's when you get into what I talked about, the 3 stages of creation, which are fantasy, theory, and fact. First, you fantasize about it. Then you start to try to look for theories because it has been done before. You know what I mean? And if it's done by someone else do it, that means you could do it. And then it becomes a fact because after you've done all those things and you've created the theory, you followed the theory, now it's a fact that you are where you are now. Which thing is just stages of growth, which says bondage. The second one is reason, where after you've been in bondage for so long, now you're starting to get reasoning behind why you can get it, right? Like why you can get it. All right, so maybe I can get it because of this, that, and the third. Maybe it's kind of like going through stages of grief or something, right? You believe now. You're starting to actually start to believe because you're starting to get, it's kind of like building a table. If you just had a table right now, it's just flat, but then you're in bondage right now, like you're tied down, but then you notice there's a leg now on one side, right? So you get a little bit more support. Then you get 2 legs. Now you can actually stand up on yourself. Then 3, then 4, right? And you actually start to get past this. So you start to actually get some reasoning now, which then leads to the 3rd stage of growth, which is the terror barrier. Whereas like you start to get scared. Where you're scared about it, right? Will Smith said, and I know right now, I don't know if he's canceled or not. I don't really know how it's going. He slapped Chris Rock on there. It's a big thing. But he did say something that really stuck with me. And it was that story of when he went skydiving. He said he was out with some friends, got some drinks or whatever. They was all going in. And then after that, he was just like, you know what? They were all like, yo, we should just do skydiving tomorrow. He was like, all right, bet, let's do it. Let's go. Everybody doing it. And as it got closer to that time, he got more and more scared because he was just thinking about how terrifying it really is to jump out of a plane. It's almost like you're putting your life in danger. Then they actually get there and he's just thinking about how he wants to get out. And then they actually get on the plane and he really thinks that, they're really doing it. So when they're and you don't want to be the only one to chicken out, right? So he gets on the plane now and the guy actually goes, okay, cool. So what we're going to do is, you're going to be stuck with this guy, this and third. They push you out on 3. And then they go 1, 2, and that guy pushes you out on 2 because on 3, most people grab onto the balance. And then you actually jump out and your heart drops. But then he says, for a split second, while you're just sitting in the midair, you really just look around and realize how beautiful everything is, right? But you were so scared before. This is the terror barrier where you're so scared. Fear is just imagination running wild and creating the worst case scenario. It didn't not even happen yet. You're thinking about you falling out of a plane and dying, right? But no, it did not happen. You fell out of the plane and now you're skydiving. You're looking at how beautiful the world is. Terror barrier. Once you get out of that stuff, you get to the last one, which is freedom, which is that second when you're just sitting in the air and you're looking at how beautiful everything is. Now, I've never been skydiving, so I wouldn't know, but that's the idea that I want to say, right? So these are the stages of growth. These are the types of goals that you want to go for. So now you want to go for C-type goals. You want to turn your fantasy from theory to fact, and you want to get from bondage to freedom. And the only thing stopping you is logic and fear. That's really all I have for you guys today, man. I want you guys to comment below, which stage of growth are you in, right? Which one do you truly believe that you're in? And I want you to, or maybe comment below a C-type goal or whatever that you have, right? So I want you guys to keep killing the day, man. Winners win, losers lose, and you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.